now you understand why I'm such a big guy. I love food. I love eating like this, but they all complement each other. You can't just say I want a steak and a potato. Like it just doesn't work like that.
In America right now, most people are struggling financially. Like I've read, if you have $5 in your bank account and no debt, you're richer than like 80% of America or something like that. And then what have I not done that is putting me in this situation? What have I done that's putting me in this situation? And once you identify both, you either stop doing something or start doing something else. All right, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the 1% Podcast. I'm your host, Vin, and
I'm Shane.
And today we're going to talk about Shane's love for food. I don't know what he loves, but that's what we're going to aim to find out about. But that is the more...
Just my love for food? You got to go with
Perhaps.
the fat guy's love for food?
I feel like you'll have more to talk about.
How dare you? How dare you? Everybody loves food, whether you're my size or shorter or smaller or somehow bigger. Everybody loves food, all right?
Don't you hate when people put foodie in their like they're about that? Then it annoys the crap. Foodie. Oh, really? You like to eat? I bet you're a freaking breathy because you like breathing air too, you idiot. God.
Just saying they're bougie. They like bougie food.
Half the time, that's not even true either. How many times do you see foodie in a profile and they're like eating freaking Philly cheesesteaks or cheeseburgers at a place you've never been to? Like, that ain't bougie.
I mean, both of those sound delicious right now. I'm not going to lie.
They do, yes. But that doesn't make you a foodie.
Well, what classifies you as a foodie?
Nothing. Everyone likes to eat. You have to eat to live. Nobody's a foodie. You have to eat. You can't be an enthusiast of something you have to do. That's like saying I'm really big on breathing good air.
I just think you're taking the definition of foodie like way out of context. You're like,
no, I'm not.
You're a foodie. You like to eat food. Cool.
No,
it doesn't bother me any.
It bothers me, and anyone out there that says they're foodie, I lose an ounce of respect for your intelligence, because that's like, I'll bring it back. I'm a breathy. I love traveling to the top of the Himalayan mountains to take a big deep breath because it's premium quality air up there. Or air? No, you think you breathe air? Hold on. I walk around with an air tank that has enhanced O2 in it, so like I'm a big breathy. Yeah, I really enjoy oxygen.
I'm not going to be the antagonist just to be the antagonist, but I feel like you could say that literally about anything for any profile. Like, I'm a business owner. It's like, oh, okay, great. You're a business owner, right? Just because it's the word foodie doesn't mean anything.
No. I'll stop you right there. Not everyone's a business owner.
That's like, my point.
You could say I'm a car enthusiast. Not everyone's a car
enthusiast. Everybody's a foodie.
Yes, everyone has to eat to some capacity. Everyone has to enjoy eating. Like, even if you hate eating, guess what? You're still going to do it. And then if you really hate eating, you're still going to try and find ways to like it. Like, maybe it's a specific type of food or a specific seasoning or a specific way it's prepared. Everyone has specifics around food because we all have to freaking eat. It's not a choice. You could be a car enthusiast because that's a choice. Not everybody likes cars. You could be a business owner because not everyone's a business owner. There is specifics in there. This, everyone has to do.
Well, it sounds like you're a little bitter about the word foodie in general. But
it's a stupid term.
Well, we'll agree to disagree. It doesn't bother me that much.
Again, we're fine with disagreeing. You could be wrong. I'm okay with that. So we'll talk about food today. I don't even know why, but we're going to do it. And there's also some practical things in here too, because Shane brought up a good point before the podcast. Anyway, that's how we're getting into this stuff. So let's talk about it. Shane, what do you enjoy eating? What makes you a foodie?
Let me start out by saying that I'm a foodie. And,
of course you
are. It's tough because I go through phases, right? Because I'm a bigger guy. I'm 6'1", I'm 260 pounds. I'm like 20 pounds overweight right now. So I go through phases where I don't watch what I eat. And when I don't watch what I eat, I will eat those Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, those burgers, the pizza, the pastas, the breads, the carbs. Like, that's me. Don't really have a sweet tooth, but, you know, occasionally I'll enjoy a nice dessert, a couple of bites here and there. But my big thing that I love, if I can classify it down to one thing, what I love most is breads. I love breads. I love doughs. I mean, it's just all around deliciousness. That's definitely my poison. It's tough to give up, but I know that's where my weight comes from.
You know, here's an interesting thought. At a restaurant, when you're waiting for the food, technically you're the waiter.
You just came up with that one while I was
No,
talking
no,
about
I've been thinking
regrets.
about it for a little bit, but
Wow, mind blown right now.
so you also said you don't watch your food, but then I'd have a question about how you eat it. So you have to watch what you eat somehow. I got
Well,
into it.
that's what I'm saying. So now it's on the other side where I see that I've gotten to my weight. I want to get back down to my 240s, my 235s, where I feel really comfortable and good about
Mm,
myself. So I cut those things out because I know that's what, brings me back there.
yeah.
So, and then when that happens, it's, I mainly stick to ketosis and keto as much as I can, which it helps me out. It's more of the meats and the eggs and the salads and the a lot of fruits and vegetables essentially, even though it's not really following too much of keto, but it's just cutting down the carbs and complex carbs and the sugars. That's really what I try to stick towards.
Wait, did you say what your favorite food was yet, or have you just gone on this whole tangent about it? Did I miss it?
It's bread. So
But that's a category. That's not a favorite like type of food. It's like saying I love cheese, but like, yeah, what kind of cheese, man? There's so many cheeses.
so you know what this fun topic is going to turn into is the last meal, your last meal, and I feel like we've
Ah,
talked about this beforehand on one of
have
the
we?
podcasts here.
I don't
Maybe
think we
not,
have. No,
but
not with me.
I personally feel that because it's hard to say what your favorite food is. Maybe it is for you. Mine would definitely have to be broken down into, you know,
Wait, wait.
different cuisines. Because
Before you before you get into this, what kind of last meal are we talking? Like, are you a on death row inmate? Is it like you're 100 years old on your deathbed? Like,
no,
how
and
capable are you to actually eat this last
de-
meal?
death row, right? You
Death
can
row.
have
Oh, so
whatever you want.
we did something crazy. We're gonna die for it, and now we're getting our last meal.
So, but that's how it is, right? You get your last meal, you get whatever you want. Have you ever watched those videos like John
Yeah,
Wayne
yeah, yeah.
Gacy? What did he order? So you can get have whatever you want, your last meal, and then you're done. So it doesn't matter, no calorie counting, no nothing. So, but it's tough because I would enjoy every aspect because I love breakfast, I love lunch, and I love dinner. Like I would love a nice, great sandwich with a couple of different sides for lunch, and I would love my breakfast foods and my dinners. But it's tough to just say this is my favorite food because I love all cuisines.
So, what would you eat? Why is this so difficult? Answer the question.
All
Stop
right.
deflecting.
So death row, we're starting with breakfast. I'm gonna
Oh,
go with black coffee. I'm going to go with apple fritters, homemade, cooked on the side. I would love eggs Benedict with cooked chorizo on a everything bagel with a side of hash browns and some sausage and bacon and a nice fresh squeeze of orange juice. That sounds great. For lunch, I would like
you don't
a
get three
see.
meals in death row.
Well, that's what I see. That's what I'm saying. For a big guy like me, I love food. I'm just telling you that from everything, I couldn't eat it just this. I would have to have my coffee, my orange juice. I'd have to have the sides there. Like that complements everything. You can't
I
just
feel like you
choose like French toast, waffles or a steak. Like you
that
can't do that.
that's yeah,
Everything
I know.
complements each other.
All right, keep going. Let's see what else you got. Listen, if any, here's the thing. If Shane ever ends up on death row for any reason, like I think actually I know how he'd end up on death row. He's gonna kill somebody for scanning his cards and selling them crappy ones.
Yeah,
So if he does that, then just play them this YouTube video and let them know what he needs to eat. So we just finished breakfast for Shane. Now Shane's got to get his lunch and his dinner, which apparently this will all be one big meal, by the way. But go ahead.
correct.
Yeah.
So I would like a cup of clam chowder. Big fan of clam chowder. Yep, on the side. I would like a half salad. I'd probably go with like a Waldorf chicken salad. Nice, fresh. You get some grapes, candied walnuts in there. And then I would do a half a sandwich, probably a pastrami or a nice Reuben or a Rachel. And then I would have a nice big glass of iced tea with lemon. That'd be it. Nice, easy lunch. Dinner, I would definitely do a 16-ounce ribeye cooked medium rare with a lobster tail. I would have twice baked potatoes with all the fixings, right? Asparagus and Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. I'd have all the vegetables. I love vegetables. And for dessert, I'd probably do a simple slice of key lime pie or a creme brulee and a cappuccino to call it a day.
Because he'll need all that when he gets poisoned to death.
Now you understand why I'm such a big guy. I love food. I love eating like this, but they all complement each other. You can't just say I want a steak and a potato. Like it just doesn't work like that. But that's also why I went to culinary school and ate my way through it, and now I enjoy it as a hobby. But I love cooking, and
Yeah,
that's my passion.
it's evident. So, I mean, for me, I would probably, it'd be very simple. If
Oh
I'm
boy,
gonna
here we
die,
go. See, now you're gonna simplify yours.
it was gonna be simple from the start. I could have just went first. If
That probably would have been better.
I don't need a bunch of meals. I would do two meals, one of which, well, not two meals. It's actually the same meal because one of which I do eat and the other of which I do not eat any longer. So I would get a nice omakase meal. I would
Mm.
just want a whole bunch of great pieces of omakase. But in typical omakase fashion, I have a tradition. After I eat omakase, I typically go out and get an actual dinner because I'll go and get 30 pieces of omakase and I'm still starving. Omakase does not fill me up. So it's always like afterwards, like a pizza or a burger or something. Because also, after you spend a few hundred on omakase, you can't really justify getting another dinner that you're going to spend a few hundred on. So it's like, I'm going to go get a dollar slice of pizza or, a $6 cheeseburger because I just spent 300 to 400 on sushi. So it'd be omakase. And then I would finish it off with some Wendy's because I don't eat Wendy's anymore. And I think my last meal would be something that I will no longer eat while I'm alive because it is just so detrimental to my health. So I would get my famous Wendy's order, which is one number two and two number sixes, a large fry, and three barbecue sauces.
And
And
a box of Oreos.
I like fried Oreos, so I would probably want those at the end.
Some
Those are
ice
pretty
cream.
bomb. No, not ice cream. Chocolate dip.
Okay.
I think that'd be good.
Anything to drink with it? Anything in the world.
I hate soda. Ever since I stopped drinking soda, if I drink it now, it just tastes like chemicals to me. So I also don't like still water. I drink it pretty often. Like I have still water right here, but it's not like a preference. Like I drink it because I need it. I like sparkling water. So I would just have a nice, maybe like a lemon lime sparkling water, some seltzer. Yeah,
Okay.
like actually a basic seltzer, like a
Very nice.
regular, yeah, like a regular brand. I'm not a huge fan of the mineral waters. They taste weird, like the Perrier and that crap. I don't need that. So yeah, that'd be my last meal: sushi and Wendy's.
I mean, that definitely sounds like a terrible decision in my stomach, personally. But I'm sure mine sounded like a big explosion to you as
Yeah, I
well.
mean, you ate three meals in one. I don't know how that could be
No,
any worse.
no. In one day.
No, you can't eat it in one day. You get one last meal. That would have to all
See,
come at the
now
same
we're adding
time.
some contingencies on here.
There's no contingency. That's how
Mine
it
was
is.
a
We
whole day.
said we acknowledge this was the last meal in the prison. You get
Mine
one
was
meal.
a
You don't
day.
eat for a whole day. It's not a
Well,
whole day. They don't give prisoners a whole day of meals. Say, hey,
well,
you get three last meals.
for all you listeners out there, that was my whole day, and thank you for listening to 14 minutes of our last meals.
Was that
Before getting
really
into our
14
main
minutes?
topic,
My
yeah.
God, we got to cut this.
So that brings us to our main topic. Vin, start us off here.
Well, Shane, I believe the main topic was supposed to be about being a little bit funny enough, more intentional about food. Because honestly, here's one of the greatest points that I've seen to date. In America right now, most people are struggling financially. Like I've read, if you have $5 in your bank account and no debt, you're richer than like 80% of America or something like
Oof.
that. And then even if you have like $1,000 and some debt, you're still richer than most people. But the funny thing is that yes, even though inflation is higher, even though wages haven't changed drastically, I think the bigger thing is that people are unintelligently spending their money. Now, one of the biggest things that you and I were talking about where people unintelligently spend is food, which is why we had this whole conversation in the first place that spiraled somehow for 14 minutes. And that's kind of the bigger reality is like, Shane, I think you mentioned that there's some people you know that do some interesting things with food.
So I'm not surprised that it took us 14 minutes to talk about our little rants. If you guys really want to listen to a very terrible, awesome one, go back to where Vin thinks that he can, beat up zoo animals in a fight.
I
But
definitely can.
but yes, I definitely have friends that are in relationships, marriage and boyfriend girlfriend, that neither of them cook. They don't. They don't cook breakfast. They don't cook lunch. They don't cook dinner. I've been to their house many times, and what do? We go out to eat. Shockingly, it's for them. And I wish I had this, condition. It doesn't really affect them as far as weight wise. I'm sure they're not as healthy as they could be, but I know they got to be hurting for money because that is expensive, right? I mean,
I've done
just
it.
going to sushi, like even not an expensive sushi dinner for two people and having a drink each, $100, $120, $150. Then you have breakfast, maybe you skip it, lunch, whatever it is. We're talking about at least $200 a day. That's close to $6,000 just for those two to eat lunch and dinner. And that's at $200 a budget on a daily basis. Even bringing it down to $150 a day. These are not grocery shopping, right? So you can eliminate the grocery shopping bill. That's still $4,500 a day if they just go out and eat, not including gas or DoorDash fees or taxes, tips, whatever it may be. I'm sure you can maybe get away with $150 for two people for lunch and dinner, but think about it. That's
Yeah.
$4,500 a day. What is
A
that?
day.
That's, or excuse me, a month. But that's $54,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
$54,000 a year on fast food, whatever it may be, right? Restaurants, eating out. $54,000 a year. It's nuts. Like, I would budget yourself and see how much you guys are spending, and I'd be shocked if you're spending under 500-600 bucks a month on delivery. So that's
yeah.
what I was talking to Vin about. Is I saw my monthly budget when I did my books for July that we spent $800 last month on delivery, which doesn't sound, maybe it sounds crazy to you, maybe it doesn't, but I have a family of four. Sometimes my mother-in-law and father-in-law come here because they're about a mile and a half, and I feed for them too. It's like $150 for just those six people for one meal.
That's not that
So
bad.
that's my point. But you think about it, if you're doing that two, three, four times a week, that adds up. I'm doing it maybe 5, 6 times a month, maybe. I was shocked when I was talking to other people and they eat out more than 5 times a week. I'm like, how? How can you afford this? This is crazy. Even though groceries are outrageous, I can get a whole thing of chicken thighs for $10 and that'll feed me for 3 days.
Yeah.
Right? If I want to go expensive, get a steak, same thing. Last me 2 days if I get two steaks.
Sure.
Anyways,
No, I mean it's an interesting point, right? Like, and I think it's kind of funny because as entrepreneurs, a lot of the mindset is to delegate, right? Like we should delegate. For instance, I say all the time, like when I'm at a point where I'm making significantly more money that I don't even have to factor it, I'm gonna have meal prep. I will happily spend more money on meal prep because it'll save me time. I will happily pay for a cleaning lady. Like these are the things that I won't consider once income hits a certain X factor,
you
right?
should you should consider it. Being on that side of the spectrum, you still should consider it because it's mind-boggling to me.
Well, I disagree because I do all of those things right now where I cook and I clean, and I don't want to do them because I think it's a waste of my time. So I will pay to get my time back. And that's what a lot of rich people do, right? Rich people do that. But the problem in today's society is that people that aren't rich are trying to delegate that out too. To your point, was not cooking at one point, and I wasn't too strict on having my girl help cook. And we were, I think, spending about 3 to 3,500 a month on food. And I just like It's just like, I don't understand where all my money's going. It's
I think
like,
that's right.
where the hell's all my money? And it's funny because she even asked me, she's like, what are you spending on? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I look and I'm like, oh, this card, like I use like one to two cards primarily for food because I get more points or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, this credit card is like $3,000, but that can't be right because all I spend on this credit card is food. And it was correct. It was, we were going out for dinner every single night. We were going out for lunch every single night, every single day, or we were even buying breakfast, and I think that it comes down to improper planning because at the time that we were doing this, she was still working full time. She still had a full time job. And so neither of us were really putting like, oh, you should be cooking. And it's like, well, we're both super busy and we both don't have time. And then she gets home at like 8 or 9 at night. And then we got to put the daughter to bed. And like, it just turned into this whole big thing. So it spiraled from there. And then, of course, while she was at work, she wasn't taking food with her. She was ordering food while she's at work. I'm in the middle of a work day. Nobody's here to give me food. I'm ordering food, breakfast. I'm on the run. So I've come to find that it's very important to do more proper planning, especially like that. Just get your food budget in order because so many people are doing exactly that. Like in today's society, I know it's factual. Less people cook, more people order out. Most people don't know how to cook anymore. It's like becoming a
That's what I was
lost
going to get
art.
at. Yeah. Because I think when you saying getting your time back, first off, I agree with the cleaning lady. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That should be your first thing. But cooking, I feel like that's just, it brings me back. I think because my mom was always cooking in the kitchen, it just brings that family together where my kids are young, but we still all collectively eat at the dinner table, right? There's no technology allowed there. It's just still family oriented. It's peace and quiet. It's family time. Like that's, I guess, what I think of instead of just kind of, you know, getting the time back. But I also think it's healthier, right? You're cooking it how you want to cook it. Well, hopefully it's healthier. um, but anyways, you're exactly right. So if you, I think what it comes down to is a knowledge of cooking, of knowing how to cook, right? Because if you're saying money's not an issue, you would still continue eating out every single day, or meal prepping, which is essentially the same thing. You would
Yeah.
have another
Well,
company meal prep before you even send it to you, right?
right. And even that is cheaper. Like if you think about it, you could get meal prep. And it's funny because meal prep is like the in between, right? So if you go to the store and let's just say your cost per meal because you're shopping in bulk or whatever is like $2 to $3, or maybe on the better side if you're really getting good quality ingredients, $5 to $6 per meal. Meal prep is almost in the same range. Meal prep comes out based on the company you're going to use between like $7 and $10 per meal, which again is still cheaper than going out. Especially, I don't know where everybody else lives, but in New York, if I go for two people, even though I'm not a huge guy, I could eat a decent amount. I'll typically want like an appetizer or two and a main course. I'm going to spend by myself like about 40 to $50 alone.
Oh, easily.
And then if my girl comes, we're getting a minimum of like a $70, $80 bill.
I was shocked when you said 40, $50. Two appetizers alone nowadays in Vegas, we're like 12 to $15 a piece for an appetizer.
It depends where you go.
Oh, okay. Oh,
There's some places, yeah, an appetizer will cost me about 20 by itself.
right.
But, again, it's where are you going? Because then there's other places I could go and appetizer will be 10 to 12. That'll be $22, right? And then, whatever.
So what do you guys think, right? If you maybe you're in that position where money isn't an issue and you are eating out or you still have those old school ways of cooking at home, those and I hate to say the family values because it really doesn't apply because going to a restaurant is still family value, still that time. But I personally think it's healthier eating at home. It's nicer spending that actual time with the family. It's quieter. You're alone. And yeah, I personally just don't see why I would go out. Just doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's the healthier option and
Yeah.
cheaper option. I
Yeah.
still don't like if they're spending $4,500 to $6,000. It's blowing me away.
It's pretty insane. And I think a part of it is that people, a lot of us want to be living lifestyles that are different than the ones we're capable of. And I think the going out to eat should be seen more as that luxury that we should be more
I agree.
conservative of, as opposed to like I'm just gonna go out every meal because I'm too lazy to cook. Learn how to cook.
Right.
Save some money. Like, think about that too. What, to the either the entrepreneur out there that's struggling or the regular family that's struggling, like, life, financial growth, business growth, it's all a game of patience. So if you guys are gonna go spend $50,000 a year on food, what
More.
if you were to cut that budget to, like, I don't know, 10,000, 15,000? Maybe that's even somewhat unrealistic. Let's just say it's like 15 to 20,000 because you want to get good quality ingredients. 15 to 20,000 per year on food, which is probably fine. Okay. You're ordering organic grass fed stuff, whatever the case may be. But what could you do with 30,000 extra? Is that a trip for you and the family? Is that money for your investment portfolio so that eventually you could just go out to eat at every meal? Like, there's so many more ways, and I think this really bridges into a bigger topic, which we're not really going to fully get into, but this gets into so many more ways of, like, proper budgeting, proper allocation of funds. How can you pull from one area to enrich another?
I agree.
And here's the biggest thing I've come to learn about money is that money isn't mystical. Money is something that commands respect. And as long as you treat your money with respect by understanding it, understanding where it goes, understanding how you're best utilizing it, you will always gain more of it. It's the people that disrespect their money, that spend it carelessly, that don't have a plan, that don't even know where it goes, that don't care where it goes. And then they're consistently like, I don't know what to do. My finances are X,
And
right?
to be
So,
honest, it's not their fault though, Vin.
yeah.
And I agree that it goes into a bigger topic here, and we wanted to keep this one short. But they don't teach about money anywhere. In college, in high school, they don't teach about it, right? They don't teach about proper budgeting and, treating these going to restaurants like a luxury and these expenses. It's crazy that you see all this, that people have these things that they can't afford because they want to appear successful. They want to appear that they're living this type of lifestyle, yet they can't afford it, that they're massively in debt. We talk about this in all of our videos. Yet what it really comes down to is mental stability. And if you're comfortable and you have that confidence, and I don't know, I'm going to go on a tangent right now, so I'm going to reserve myself here. Anyways, do you have anything more to say here, Vin?
Yeah, I agree with your point, but I don't think it's a good reason. Like, I would call that a positive excuse. I never learned about finances. I didn't learn about 99% of the crap that I am doing and have done. And it's more just about, like, you have to get curious and desire a better life for yourself. Your life is a direct and proportionate result to either the actions you have or have not taken. And so if you want a different life, you need to look at both of those. What have I not done that is putting me in this situation? What have I done that's putting me in this situation? And once you identify both, you either stop doing something or start doing something else. Like, for as complex as we think life is, it's actually really freaking simple. It literally just comes down to that. There's a constraint on your life. Whatever that constraint is, you figure it out, and then you take a different action. The constraint's gone, and then you level up, and another constraint comes. And that's with everything. It's with professional relationships, whether it's a business, personal relationships, whether it's friendships or romantic relationships or a relationship with your kid or whoever. That's everything in life. So get curious, look at your life, be meticulous, and don't use any type of excuse like, well, I don't know better. Because if you say that, I'm going to figure out where you are and I will slap you in the face because you deserve it.
The time where you can be careless is your last meal. Have
Yeah,
3 meals. Have 3 last meals if you want.
that's it. Burn the government's money because I'm paying for it anyway. Actually, Shane's probably paying for it. I'm
All
not.
taxpayers are paying for it. All right, guys, we're out of here. Like, subscribe, comment on this video. Let us know what you think.
Share.
We really appreciate it.
You gotta share.
And share. Yes. And we're on all the platforms too. However you're listening to us, follow us on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok. We'd really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. I'm Shane.
I'm Vin. Bye, everybody.